Hi, fourth graders. Ms. Cross here today to start our first read aloud of a chapter book for fourth grade. And Ms. McGrath and I are going to team up on this. So some days you'll hear me reading part of it and teaching you, and some days you'll hear Ms. McGrath doing the same thing because we both love reading to you guys so much that we are going to share this book. So let me just give you a little bit of information about our reading goals, and then I'll talk about the book a little bit before I start reading. So the goal of reading this book is for us to learn about main characters, and we are going to study those characters through their actions and their interactions with each other. So the things they do with each other, the conversations they have, the feelings they're having, and we're going to have to make lots of inferences. We've been talking a lot about inferences. And that's really important, especially as we read chapter books, because the author does not give us all of the information. So, this story, which you can see here, is called Save Me a Seat, and it is by Sarah Weeks and Geeta Varadarajan. Okay? Now, we're going to be introduced to two characters in particular, two main characters in this book, and they are very different from each other, but they have a similar problem. So they have some differences, but they also have a problem in common. So they are going to go through the beginning of a school year together, okay? And these characters are named Joe and Ravi. Joe and Ravi. And there's going to be some other characters. There's going to be a character named Dylan and some other friends that we're going to meet, but our main characters are going to be Joe and Ravi. So I'm going to show you what I've done in my reading notebook. I've gone ahead and made a T-chart, and I've got Ravi over here and Joe over here, and after I read each day, or while I read, I might pause and just jot down some information about these characters, because I want to think about them, their character traits, and the way they act, the way they react to different situations, okay? So I'm going to read 4 chapters to you today, and it might be broken up into 2 different videos. We'll have to see how long it takes. Now, I'm going to hold the book this way so that you can see the words while I am reading. So save me a seat. And I know that I have talked to my class, and I know Miss McGrath might have mentioned this too, but I love front covers of books. That's how I decide whether I think a book is going to be interesting. And I look at this and I see 2 different school lunch trays, right? And I notice that they're a little different. This one is blue, this one is orange, this one has a spork, kind of like a cross between a fork and a spoon. This one has a spoon. Here I see French fries and probably a cheeseburger and some milk. And over here I see something different. I'm not quite sure if that could be vegetables or some kind of like a fritter maybe. And then I see some rice and vegetables. So I'm kind of noticing 2 very different lunches. So I'm wondering what that's going to mean for us as we read the story. Okay, so save me a seat. We're going to start with chapter 1. All right, now I noticed this, and this book is going to have some different kind of dividers. I see chapter, but I also see this, Monday, chicken fingers. So I'm going to infer that maybe every Monday at this school, chicken fingers is for lunch. Some of you might have noticed some lunch patterns here at Arcata with the school lunches. Okay, chapter 1, Ravi. Most people in America cannot pronounce my name. On the first day at my new school, my teacher, Mrs. Beam, is brave enough to try. Suryanyane, she says, her eyebrows twitching as she attempts to sound it out. Suryaneriyanan, I say slowly. She tries again, but it is no better. I'm going to have to work on that, she says with a laugh. I laugh too. Suryaneriyanan is my surname. My first name is Ravi. It's pronounced Ravi with a soft Ra and a strong V. In Sanskrit, it means the sun. In America, people call me Ravi with the stress on the first syllable. That doesn't mean anything. So I am already inferring from his name, which sounds different, and it's hard for that teacher to pronounce, and you saw it was a little hard for Miss Cross to pronounce. It's not a name that we're used to saying a lot. So I'm going to guess that he is from somewhere else, from another country perhaps. Patience is a virtue, Amma reminds me often. She believes that with time, people will learn how to say our names correctly. My grandmother tells her not to hold her breath. We moved to Hamilton, New Jersey a few months ago, May 13th to be exact. I am fresh off the boat, as they say. My father got a promotion at his IT company in Bangalore, so they transferred him to America. In India, Amma, Appa, and I had our own house with a cook and a big garden. We even had a driver to take us wherever we needed to go. My grandparents lived in their own flat nearby. Now we all live together in a townhouse in a place called Hamilton Mews. Okay, friends, I just read this one paragraph, and there was a lot of information in that paragraph. So they moved to Hamilton, New Jersey from Bangalore. That's a city in India. I just happen to already know that. If you've never heard of that city, you might also then notice where it says in India. So his dad got a promotion. That's like a better job opportunity at an IT company. That's internet technology. So I'm going to infer that his dad works in computers. And where they lived back in India, they had a big house, a cook, a garden, kind of fancy. Now they're living in a townhouse, which might be a little smaller than what they were used to. Okay, things are very different here in America. Appa takes the train to work. We don't have a cook anymore, so Amma has to prepare all the meals herself. Now I'm going to stop again. I'm going to infer that Amma and Appa are his mom and dad. Like we might say mama and daddy or mom and dad. I'm inferring this is how he calls his parents. And he mentioned his grandma up here also, so I think she's separate. So I'm guessing that Appa is dad because it says Appa takes the train to work, and Amma is mom because she's cooking the meals. Our new house is much smaller than the old one. There is only one bathroom upstairs, which I share with my grandparents. I wouldn't mind so much, except that Paripa likes to take long showers, and Parima leaves her teeth in a glass by the sink at night. Okay, so now I have other names. He says he shares the bathroom with his grandparents, and then he talks about Paripa taking long showers, and Parima leaves her teeth in a glass. Have you ever seen those are called dentures when people have like false teeth? So I'm going to infer that this is grandpa and this is grandma. I learned to speak English when I was very young. We speak mostly English at home, and I went to an English medium school. But for some reason, people here in New Jersey have trouble understanding me when I speak. I am trying to learn how to swirl my tongue to sound more American. My grandmother doesn't like it. Be proud of who you are and remember where you come from, she tells me. If you're not careful, you'll turn into one of them. Your grandfather didn't slave in the tea plantation so that his only grandson would become some rude, overweight, beef-eating cowboy. So it sounds like Grandma doesn't want them to become too American. She wants them to remember their Indian heritage and be proud of that. I don't think Parima likes America. My school in India was called Vidya Mandir, which means Temple of Knowledge. My new school is called Albert Einstein Elementary. Parima could hardly wait to show off to all her friends at home that her grandson had been accepted to a school named after a scientific genius. I'm not a scientific genius, but I am a very good student. My favorite subjects are math, English, and sports, especially cricket. Now, if you've never heard of cricket as a sport, that is a sport that is played in other parts of the world, and I believe it's kind of similar to baseball. But it is not the cricket like the insect. Boys and girls, please welcome our new student, Ravi, Mrs. Beam says, after she has taken the roll call. He's come all the way from India. Isn't that exciting? Mrs. Beam is short and round. When she smiles, her eyebrows touch each other. As I look around the room, a sea of mostly white faces stares back at me. I feel a little nervous. It is my first day of 5th grade in room 506, and I am the only Indian in my class. There is one other, a boy named Dylan Samreen, but he doesn't count. He is ABCD, American-born confused Desi. Desi is the Hindi word for Indian. I can tell Dylan is ABCD because he speaks and dresses more like an American than an Indian. So he is saying that this other student, Dylan, is also of Indian heritage, but he was born in America, and so Ravi doesn't feel like he's really Indian like he is. Tell us something about yourself, Ravi, Mrs. Beam says, smiling at me. Yes, ma'am, I say, standing at attention. Everyone laughs. Mrs. Beam claps her hands. Boys and girls, where are your manners? She asks. Go on, Ravi. We're listening. So I notice that when he is called on by the teacher, he immediately stands up and everybody laughs at him. So I'm going to infer that that is a tradition in school that he's used to, that the American students were not used to. I push my glasses up and continue. My name is Ravi Suryanarayanan, and I just shifted from Bangalore. Everyone laughs again. What's so funny, I wonder? Mrs. Beam claps her hand. Her eyebrows are twitching like mad. Boys and girls, is this how we welcome a new student to Albert Einstein? The room gets quiet. The spotlight is on me. I can feel the whole class staring. This is my first day of school in America, and things are not going well. Mrs. Beam turns to me. You can call me Mrs. Beam, she says softly. And Ravi, here in America, students don't need to stand up when the teacher calls on them. Do you understand? Of course I do. I push up my glasses and rub my nose. It's something I do when I'm nervous. Mrs. Beam comes over to my desk. She has a look of pity on her face. Don't worry, Ravi, she says, patting me on the shoulder. You can introduce yourself to the class later after you've had a little time to work on your English. We have a very nice teacher named Miss Frost in the resource room. I'm sure she can help you. I want to say, number 1, my English is fine. Number 2, I don't need Miss Frost. Number 3, I was top of my class at Vidya Mandir. That was his old school. But here's what I do instead. So those are the things he feels like saying. But instead, he pushes up his glasses, rubs his nose, sits down, and folds his hands. My friends and teachers at Vidya Mandir would have had a good laugh if they could see me now. Their star student taken for an idiot. Ooh, that's not a very kind word, is it? What a joke. Mrs. Beam is writing out our homework on the board. I open my notebook and carefully copy down the assignment. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Dylan Samreen staring at me. He looks like a movie star straight out of Bollywood. Bollywood is an area in India where they film these very flashy, colorful, bright movies. And it's kind of based on Hollywood here in America where they make movies. So that is supposed to be what the B. It's not a mistake. His long, shiny black hair falls over one eye. With a quick jerk of his head, he shakes it away. Then he smiles and winks at me. I smile back. Dylan Samreen may be an ABCD, but I think he wants to be my friend. Okay, so there's a lot of information in that short chapter, friends, and I am just going to point out right here. Remember, he said that Dylan was also Indian, but he's what he calls ABCD. He's calling him a name based on the fact that this friend was born in the United States. So at first he kind of judged him on that, but now he feels like maybe Dylan does want to be his friend. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to take just a minute to come to my T-chart. Now, we have not met Joe yet, right? We don't know anything about Joe, but we do know about Ravi. So I'm just going to write a couple of things. He's moved to New Jersey. I'm going to write NJ from India. He's feeling maybe nervous or uncomfortable at school. It seems like maybe he feels kind of out of place, which we all know if we've ever felt like that, that can feel really not very good inside of like your tummy and your heart. So I'm going to kind of infer that he's having kind of a rough day, okay? Now, I'm going to write down here on the side our other characters because these are like our secondary characters. But sometimes when I start reading a book, it takes me a minute to keep everybody straight. Frost, I spelled that wrong, and Dylan. So I'm going to go ahead and write these characters' names down because I'm probably going to see the teacher again. I'm guessing I'm going to see Dylan again. And Miss Frost is one they said could help him with his English, although he does not feel like he needs it. All right, guys, chapter 1 of Save Me a Seat, and we will be back with more chapters very soon. Have a great day.